And now, prepare your ear holes for penetration as we bring you another great podcast from the Poop Culture Extended Universe.
Before we get to the podcast, I want to let you know about our new sponsor, Sudio. Sudio wants to revolutionize the way people see headphones by bridging the gap between fashionable headphones without quality sound and high-tech headphones that are bulky and not design-oriented to bring you their line of headphones. They sent me a pair of their Regent-style Bluetooth wireless headphones to try out, and I gotta tell you, they're literally rocking my world. I've been prancing all over the place without worry of snagging any wires, jamming to my playlist while washing dishes, shopping for groceries, and even attempting to lift weights. They even passed my heavy metal headbanging test, and that's thanks all to the comfort, style, and quality sound these headphones provide. The Regent Bluetooth wireless headphones are Sudio's premium model with impeccable clarity in the instrumental tones and well-balanced sound. It can connect to any device that offers Bluetooth, but also has an auxiliary cord if you don't want to use the wireless option. Also, with the 24-hour plus active battery life and 20 days of standby life, the Regent is perfect for you at home and on the go. And lastly, you can personalize your Regent interchangeable caps, such as white or black marble designs, with many other designs to customize your Regent headphones. So, go to the website at sudio.com and use the promo code REWIND for 15% off. That's 15% off your purchase of these quality sound and fashionable headphones. And now, to the show. Hey dudes and dudettes, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast. A podcast chock full of everything that is nostalgic about the 80s, 90s, and more. This episode, we're recapping my recent trip to Los Angeles where my buddies and I, we biked all over to get the ultimate LA experience. Also, I had the awesome opportunity of meeting up with Keith Coogan, Kenny from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and Brad from Adventures in Babysitting. You remember him. We talked more about those experiences growing up and acting in LA. But before we do that, I want to recap how awesome my trip to LA was. I mean, if you listened to the podcast before, it was my first time in California. So a couple buddies and I, longtime buddies from back home, shout out to Zach and Freddie, stayed in a VRBO out in West Hollywood, close to a ton of attractions, like the Chinese Theater, Hollywood Walk of Fame, and of course In-N-Out Burger was just around every corner. So we as soon as we got there, we walked over to Chinese Theater. Definitely the spectacle that it always is. You know, there's tons of people all over the place walking around taking pictures of anything and everything. You had the people who were going in for the tour. You had some people taking pictures of the prints outside, the cement prints, handprints, and footprints of celebrities. Then you also had the famous or infamous, I don't know what you want to say, people in costume who are out there, taking pictures and also maybe looking for those extra tips as well. We saw. You saw the standard, like, the Superman, the Batmans. We saw Michael Jordan look like. This guy looked exactly like Michael Jordan. I think he was built better than when Michael Jordan was playing back in the day. So he looked the part. His gimmick was he would be eating potato chips while trying to bounce a ball off your foot, which it sounds, I guess niche, but he really wasn't pulling it off as well as he thinks he was, so it looked a little awkward seeing him try to do that. And also we had a SpongeBob impersonator, had the dirtiest costume aside from playing a bum from Newsies. Those gloves were black. He had been doing some push-ups on the concrete for a while or something. I don't know what, but SpongeBob needed to throw that stuff in the dry cleaners. But yeah, all the foot and handprint pads that they had, of all the celebrities, that you see they do in front of the Chinese Theater, they had huge slabs starting out. You can tell that they made a big deal about it. It was just, you get this giant 4x4 slab, and I was like, yes, I'm important. And then you see how it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as they realize, oh, if we're gonna be giving these out pretty frequently, we probably shouldn't make them so goddamn huge. So yeah, you get to the point where you get like, Samuel Jackson's got a decent sized one, and he's a great big star. But then you have like Stan Lee, Mel Brooks, and some of these other big wigs, I guess, with smaller ones who got their blocks a little bit later, so they had to endure the smaller blocks, which I'm sure they all have something to say about it. But what are you gonna do? when you run out of space, what are you going to do? So yeah, they had a ton of those up front of the Chinese theater. It was pretty much what I expected in that regard. And then we also, so that was like the first night we were there. The next day we rented some bikes. So we wasted no time. We put like 30 miles on these bikes on the first day. We went down to Venice Beach, through Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive. Man, those hills were killer. Like they're not joking. Like you're coming down a hill, but you can't be happy about going down the hill because at the end of it you got to go back up another one, and so you just got to gain that momentum and see if you can get. And that's the thing. The hills are so long. They're just a gradual, like 3/4 or 1 mile long hill. So you're just like, you can't like build your speed and ride all the way up it. You just have to deal with it. So I enjoyed biking around LA, but there are definitely some parts where I was just like, man, I wish we had some motorized scooters, or we just maybe had a car that maybe we could get around traffic, a flying car, maybe a DeLorean of some sort. So we biked around. Like I said, went through Beverly Hills, very nice area. You could definitely tell money flows through that area. Didn't see too many houses that I recognized from any movies, but of course you see the Beverly Hills signs that I don't think have changed since like the 70s or 80s. They seem like they're the exact same ones I remember seeing back in in the TV shows from the 70s and 80s, and even like Troop Beverly Hills and movies like that. So yeah, I think they keep it all pretty much the same. Just maybe just not updated, but just kept up pretty well. So yeah, Beverly Hills was was gorgeous to roll through. Went through Rodeo Drive, which I didn't think was anything too special. I didn't see the store. I wanted to do the Mighty Ducks 2 gimmick where they were ordering some burgers and fries at one of the door cameras, but it was not. It didn't go down. I think as an adult, I think I have more accountability. So I don't think I want to go down like that in LA on my first day there. So yeah, we rocked through there, went out to Venice Beach and did the boardwalk. We biked through that. That was an experience in itself, seeing all the different types of people out there, the different types of vendors that they're selling, the different foods, and just the different smells and food to just anything and everything. Then we also went down to the famous Venice Beach basketball courts where I saw where they had the White Man Can't Jump. My bunions hurt. We'll take the jump. Well, I was all pumped up. We had a few drinks and things like that. So I was like, what, I'm gonna put up a shot. There's some guys they're playing some basketball, shooting around. I'm like, yo, man, toss it to me. Let me put one up. No hesitation. The guy just throws it to me like a nice guy. I put up the shot. Man, I think I put it like 3 feet past the rim. I didn't play the rim. I didn't play the win, as Sidney Dean would say.
Yo, man, you said we was going to Sizzler.
Oh, man, shut your anorexic, malnutrition, tapeworm having, overdose Dick Gregory Bahamian diet drinking ass up. Leave me alone.
It was not a great showing for my first time on Venice Beach, but I will be back. And I will put up more shots there. It's just I'll blame the drinks and the wind on that one. So, we definitely enjoyed Venice Beach. Had a few drinks out there. Made our way back. Went out for the night. Just kind of walked around Sunset, which wasn't just a few blocks away from where we were. So we enjoyed Sunset and just kind of walking down, just seeing what it had to offer. Just so many different bars, the different studios that are scattered among Sunset. Even like different like studios, like movie studios, recording studios, music studios, things like that. It was cool to see the different types of things they had going, different businesses and industries they had going on. But one of the coolest things that first night we ran into, just walking along. And we're about to pass this bar, and I look in, and just the corner of my eye, we would have kept walking if my corner of my eye didn't see it. And I see these like radar screens, and I'm like, those radar screens look pretty familiar. So I had to do a double take. I had to step back away from my friends, and I looked inside. I'm like, those look like Star Wars radar screens. And I started looking at the font of the interior of the sign, and then start looking at more of the interior, and it says Scum and Villainy Cantina. I'm like, well, what? And so I had to walk inside this fully. And as soon as you walk in, there's like this opening lobby area that has the like you can sit and have drinks, but it has the radars, like I said, from like A New Hope. But then when you walk through and you go into the main bar, turns completely into a full replica of the Star Wars Cantina. Like from Mos Eisley, like I couldn't believe it. Like they went full on. Like the interior looks like it. They have the horseshoe bar. They have the things hanging from the middle. They even have the bartenders are dressed up as, I wouldn't say authentic Star Wars characters, but they are at least, they look weird. So either that could be just like their standard getup and there was the right job for them, or, you know, they're putting some extra effort in, which was awesome. And also, the booths were made to look exactly like the same booths that Han and Greedo were in when Han shot first, when he took him down. So yeah, that made it all that much better. So my buddies and I, we got up in there. We actually ordered the other thing that made it better. They had a blue milk drink, which is basically like a Mai Tai, I guess you want to call it. But they had a blue milk drink, they called it, on the menu. So of course, if I'm in the cantina, I gotta get down with some blue milk. And on top of that, they had a Luke Skywalker / Jerry Garcia lookalike guy in there having a birthday party. So we had to get down with him. We had a couple of drinks with him. We got a couple of pics with him. We rocked out. They were playing some awesome like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack in there as well. So I couldn't get enough of this bar. So I will be returning to Scum and Villainy bar next time we go to Los Angeles. And I advise those who are going to Los Angeles to try out Scum and Villainy Cantina, because it's everything and more what I just described. So some other things about LA, the billboards, tons of billboards. Of course, you know, it's the, you know, the entertainment capital of the world. So you're going to see the advertisement for everything, but you see it a lot in your standard city or wherever you live. You're going to see billboards for things, but here it's on another level. It's every corner, it's everything is turned into a billboard. They get pretty creative with it. So at one point, you know, my buddies and I were going through town, and we were just kind of just pointing out all the different billboards and kind of, you know, like the detail or the effort it goes into them. And we see one for the HBO show Crashing, and it's on top of a building, a decent sized one. We're like, oh, that's a pretty good one. Then you look down at the lower building, and there's the Paterno one with Al Pacino. And we had that conversation. We're like, well, Al Pacino, you know, granted that Crashing, I guess, is having a second season, so it's getting the more promotion, but Al Pacino's still, you know, a pretty A-list celebrity, I guess you can say, in regards to name recognition. So you would think that Paterno would get the bigger billboard. So it just kind of made us kind of scratch our heads. We're riding our bikes. We keep going down Sunset. This is on our way to Venice Beach. We go down Sunset some more, and we go down one of our infamous hills, and we're coming up over the top of it, and we see another billboard. This one is for Paterno again, but this one, it's on the side of a building.
Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah!
An entire, like, 25-story, 30-story building is an entire side of it is Paterno with Al Pacino's face on it. So, kind of just made us backtrack on our, okay, well, they know what's up. Al Pacino still has the clout in Hollywood to have that big. I don't think I saw any other billboard that big. So, I'll have to hand it to him. HBO putting the effort out, getting Al Pacino a side of a building for Paterno, which I'm excited to see. I've seen the trailers for Paterno, so I'm kind of seeing how they portray him, because, you know, they try to say he was a pretty innocent old man, which he comes off, he looks like it, but he had to have known something. And so I wonder how deep and what the narrative's going to be in this story. So I'm excited to see that. But like I said, the billboards were just everywhere. You know, sides of buildings, on top of sides of buses, entire buses being made into a whole advertisement. I think I saw like at least 1 million Santa Clarita Diet billboards out there, and then also the Game Over Man billboards. They just released that on Netflix, so there's a ton of those out there. And also, oh yeah, Ready Player One. Ready Player One was getting blasted out there. I think for every 4 or 5 billboards I saw, there's a Ready Player One, and they got creative with it too. That was another one. Like the posters out there, they were renditions of old school like movies like Beetlejuice, Back to the Future, Top Gun, but this is all like with the Radio Player One mashup type situation. I took a couple pictures, so all these things I'm talking about are going to be on my Instagram at BeKindRewindPod. So if you want to check them out, go follow me on Instagram or go check them out there. But yeah, they had all kinds of different renditions for Ready Player One. We were walking around that same first night, and we saw more of like an interactive promotion where they had basically the stacks, I guess they call them in the movie, where he lives before he goes into the Oasis. And so they had like a replica set up of that, and they had like a virtual reality thing set up in there where it's like a mission where you kind of have to go through, and they had groups of people go through this. So it was this big interactive and big line, and it took up a whole corner of this street, this corner block, and it was just amazing. It was like something you don't see. I mean, I'm in Denver and we don't see things like that. I don't see it very often, and to be out there in LA, you're like in the thick of it all, in the heart of it. So this is where they really, really put out the effort for those type of things. So it was really cool to see promotions like that in movies, and with the movie premiering the same week as well, you could really see the influx of advertising and the push for it from the studios and just in LA in general. So yeah, I think that was one of the cooler things about, especially with the billboards. Other things that we got to do, just kind of last few things, we got to go rock out Universal Studios.
He else grabs you, shakes you, thrills you, loves you, blasts you, rocks you, and puts you right in the middle of 10,000 degrees of live excitement in the new Backdraft attraction. Not anyone. If you want a full day and night of action, adventure, and fun for the whole family, you've got to go to the only place where you can see the stars and ride the movies. Universal Studios Hollywood. If you haven't been here lately, you haven't been.
Which was something I'd been wanting to do. I wanted to do movie studio tours for so long. Like, I've been just dying to do this for so many years. And so finally get the opportunity, and trying to look up the tickets was like kind of not too confusing, but I had to get some clarification, because I was looking at like Warner Brothers and Universal and some other studio tours just to kind of see which the situation, which one may be better, trying to feel out situations, and then also to seeing how to buy tickets, because sometimes they weren't too straight up about it. And so we finally figured out that, for Universal was the way to go. Multiple people when we got in town told us Universal Studios, that's the way to go. That's the best one. So like, okay, we'll do that. We looked it up online, thinking you can just buy a straight ticket, go straight to Universal, the tours. But no, it's part of the whole park. It's a theme attraction, so you got to buy a 1-day pass to Universal Studios. I mean, I'm not mad at that. So we rock that out. We show up. As soon as we get into the entrance, just towering above the entrance, above the park, is the majestic Hogwarts. Like, I totally forgot that Hogwarts existed in this park. For some reason, I thought it was just in Orlando. But when I saw it show up, oh man. For one, I knew my wife was going to kill me, because this is something guys. If your wife wants to enjoy something with you and you enjoy it before them, there's hell to be paid. Well, luckily she's awesome and she understands, but she will enjoy it one day as well. We'll enjoy it together. But this time when I saw it, I just I couldn't take the smile off my face. One of my friends he's not a Harry Potter fan, but he enjoys these type of things. He himself was taken back by the whole setup and everything. Just how the detail and the effort into the construction of like Hogwarts and Hogsmeade, the stores, the interior, just like everything, just the whole atmosphere itself. Like, it really is what you would envision if you were in the movies. Every time you watch the movies, and now I can like physically put myself there. And it was something that it's been a long time in the making, so I was definitely excited. And the lines at that point, it was like 9-10 o'clock in the morning, were already like 2 hours to get inside Hogwarts. So I put that off. I was like, you know what, there'll be another time. That'll be when my wife and I, or maybe in the future wife and kids, will enjoy. But right now, I'm just here just to take it all in from the exterior. So I got to enjoy the exterior, walked around. Definitely the line that was worth standing in line for was the butterbeer. Oh, one of the tastiest things I've ever had in my life. And I wish I was exaggerating or joking And my two friends can confirm, because we're like three little boys on the schoolyard just sharing a drink. Like, oh, here you go. That was good. Oh yeah, taste that one. Yeah. It's just like we just couldn't stop drinking because it was just so good. Like almost wanted to go back and get another one. Definitely gonna try to replicate that, but I know that it will never do it justice the way they do it in Hogsmeade and over by Hogwarts. And it was just man, and I got the commemorative little mug. I was a sucker. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna take anything back, this is what I'm gonna take back. So I got myself a butterbeer mug. The way they set up Hogwarts was awesome as well. It's like I don't know what the scale is, but it's big enough to where you think that it looks like it's legit size. And they have Ron Weasley's crash car in front, which I thought was a nice touch. I mean, all kinds of detail like that. They even had some Harry Potter little choir singing in front. They had the singing toads or singing frogs with them. So I think that was cool. People were up front. Even the people who were working at the butterbeer stand were singing the song. So everybody was into it. And that was the thing too. Everybody who was working, who was part of it, was into it. They weren't working there for like their day job. They were there because they loved being a part of like the Harry Potter universe, or just being a part of this whole atmosphere. So it was definitely, it made the whole environment that much better to see them kind of playing along and enjoying it. But yeah, so like I said, we enjoyed some butterbeer, and then we took off from there. Right down the way from Hogwarts was the wonderful world of the Simpsons. Their own little piece of Springfield out there in the park. They wouldn't tell me which state Springfield actually still is in, but we did get to walk through it. They had all the fixtures from Springfield. They had Moe's. Moe's inside was awesome. They had a little pool table. They had Barney in there. They had the love tester. You can put your hand on there, see if you're a Casanova, which my buddy Zach said he was, which there was no video or photo evidence, so it's still up for debate. And then we also had the Quickie Mart was out there. I didn't go in that. That was actually really busy. They had Bumblebee Man tacos, and then they also had other themed attractions. Krusty Land, Krusty Burger was there, which was the most popular one. That had a line out the door, which the food looked edible, so I can see why people want to go there, but it was just way too big of a line. So my buddies and I, we went over to Bumblebee Man Tacos, and man, they had some really good authentic tacos over there. We enjoyed those with a nice big Duff beer. You can't enjoy Springfield without some Duff beer, Homer's choice of beer. So yeah, we rocked that out. And then we just kind of made our way around the park as we were killing time before we went over to our movie studio tour. We went over to Waterworld. They had a Waterworld attraction. So we were thinking, maybe we're going to have a Kevin Costner sighting. So let's go check this out. We were foiled. It didn't happen. But we did run into a pretty entertaining show. They had some pretty legit dangerous stunts going on with a finale that I guess if you don't want spoiled, you can pause or jump for a few seconds. But the spoiler at the end, they have this giant fucking plane just crashing through the set, through this wall of fire for this giant finale, which was awesome. Like I knew it was coming, but I forgot it was coming. It was one of those things. And as soon as it happened, you're like, damn it, why did I remember that? Because it was so awesome, but the surprise made it that much better. So that show I would recommend that one too. Waterworld still holds up, man. Who'd have thought? The opening scene of Kevin Costner drinking his own pee, to now, 30 years later, 25 years later, the thing is producing a live action thrilling show for families. So daily too, on like every couple hours. So yeah, I recommend that one. So after that, we did what we came there to do, which was we rocked out the movie studio tour. They had the tram ride. It was the wait wasn't too bad. It kind of capped off with this mother. She was scheming on us. We got to the front, and they had like these little lines where you stand, where you're gonna get into the tram in the rows. Well, she thought she was gonna get in the very front row, but you realized that they got in the second row. And so while we're sitting in the front row, she's trying to get to the worker to say, "Hey, we got in the wrong row. Can we switch with them?" And the worker's like, "Do you guys want to switch?" I'm like, nah. We're not going to switch. This is where we are. So she's all like, steaming over there. Her daughter's like, Ma, why don't you just ask him to switch again? And the dad's just like, just give it up. And the mom's just like, you can tell she's over there. She's like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So finally, tram comes open. She sprints into the tram and she like just darts into the front row. Like she's just like, oh yeah, she's just playing dumb. Like, yeah, this is where we're sitting, right? Yeah, this is where we're sitting. And we're just standing. We're just like started getting on. We're just standing like looking at her. And her husband just like basically pulls her arm. Just like, just get back here. And she's just like, just gives up, like just kind of being all like, I just couldn't get it. I'm like, this is the example you're setting for your daughter. Like, and her daughter, of course, the poor kid already being a spoiled brat thanks to her mom. So it was just a sight to be seen just to get on for the movie studio right before we got on the movie studio tour. But once we got going, it was awesome. They took us through, they were very informative, although the video they had could have been a little bit louder. We couldn't hear too much about what they're talking about, but from the videos, but the intercom was pretty loud. But they were very informative. Bunch of cool like backlots, where they shot a ton of movies and shows. They would list off all the movies that they were shooting back there, how they would switch out different buildings from different angles to make it look like completely different areas. Like we got to a point where they showed us the most famous backlot is where they shot Back to the Future. The Hill Valley downtown square. And it was just, it's crazy how they transformed it because it looked like it was like the 1980 or the 1955 Back to the Future, basically. It was old school set. Looked like the old school. I was looking for the Daniel Boone playing at the theater. Didn't see that. So yeah, it was awesome to drive. It was a quick drive. I was just trying to enjoy it as much as I could because it was kind of a quick little in and out. And so you go around the front part of the clock tower, the little courtyard right there. You go in front of the old gas station, and then where the Cafe 80s and all that good stuff was there in the corner. That's where you drive right by that and just kind of get a great glimpse of the clock tower and how, the little tower or little clock area where Doc slid down to save Marty to get him back to 1984. So for the short little period that we got to see that area, I was mesmerized. I loved it. And then some other things I did on the tram ride is they took you on, like, the tram would lock in. They'd go into this little like warehouse thing, and they'd lock into this little thing, and all of a sudden you'd be surrounded by screens, and then they do this 3D appearance of like King Kong and dinosaurs. They're fighting each other, but as they're fighting each other, you're like it's like when you would get into those little interactive things in the mall where it's shaking along the same way that you would be seeing something happening. So you're getting thrown around while King Kong and dinosaurs are fighting with each other, which was fun. I would just say it was pretty entertaining. But the one that really got me was the last thing they had you do on the ride was they had a Fast and Furious one, which I'm not a huge fan of Fast and Furious, but what they did for this was entertaining, and I had a great time because they basically, same situation, you get locked in, you get surrounded by screens, but of course you're in your tram still, and you thrusted through this highway, with Dom and everybody, Tyrese and everybody, around you, trying to keep you safe from these enemies who are trying to attack you. And you got Vin Diesel hanging from a helicopter just yelling, "Don't worry, I got this," and they're just like flying off in this, this drone helicopter of some sort. And it's just over the top ridiculous. And of course, that's what the franchise is. So what else would you expect in the ride? And it was really entertaining. I had a great time on it for it being like maybe about a 5-minute ride. I had a great time on it. So I just I couldn't get over how entertained I was with that one. So the tram ride had 2 different times. They had something like that, and of course the back lots. And then they showed you some of the other interactive things they did. Some of the earthquake ride where you go and the truck rolls down from over the top, and then you get the water flooding on the other side. That was the other interactive one. That was old school one that you see. God, I think they had that in The Wizard or something like that back in the day. Shit, I was just trying to remember because I was trying to put myself in Fred Savage's shoes for The Wizard the whole time.
California.
But yeah, that was pretty much the tram ride from Universal, and from there, we kind of took off from Universal because, I mean, that was one of the main things we wanted to do from there. And from after that, we just kind of did some random stuff, walked around the place that we stayed. Like I said, we found the Star Wars Cantina, also found a Danny Trejo coffee and donut shop, which was surprisingly pretty tasty. It had a huge array of donuts. Like they had like these abuelitas, these grandmas that were like chocolate coffee donuts, and they had like the chocolate or the maple bacon donut. Wow, it was so good. And the coffee was he actually sells bags of coffee for himself with his face on it. So what do you know? Also, not too far from our spot is we had the Nickelodeon Splat, where they had giant murals of real monsters and Rugrats, and also they had the Klasky Sisispu, I think is how you say it, CSUPO. That logo that you see at the end of Rugrats, when it just kind of sketches out real quick. Basically, that logo is in front of the Splat building, and yeah, this is where all the Nickelodeon magic goes on in regards to Splat, I guess. And so yeah, and then the other one of my other favorite places that was not too far from where we were was the Jim Henson Company, and that was actually one of the main places that I wanted to see because I knew it was not too far from where we were. It was just an amazing setup here, just in the middle of Hollywood, just like a multiple little like Hobbit-style buildings connecting to each other. You can tell it'd been there for probably since the mid-70s or something like that. And had the giant Jim Henson Company sign over the gate, and then our pal Kermit the Frog, sitting on top of the podium there, saluting those who pass by with his top hat. But we didn't get to go in because they had the closed gate and security and all that good stuff. But we did get to see like a lot of the entrances, a lot of the buildings within the kind of the complex. Like you can see the animator offices over where the big studio is, where they said that they still shoot many of their productions to this day. So it was just so majestic. But other than that, we just enjoyed a lot of food trucks and drinks like Little Tokyo, Little China, Armenia. We also headed back to In-N-Out Burger as much as possible. And I will say, In-N-Out Burger for me was definitely worth it. It's just something that it lived up to the hype, I think. It tasted like Whataburger, and I'd hate to. I'm sure I'm offending at least 3 of you out there who are like, "What? Whataburger? He's comparing that to Whataburger?" Now let me say, the beef, the burger and the beef, salty enough, perfect enough of salt, tastes just like Whataburger. That good old number 2 from Whataburger. So yes, I am comparing 2 fast food places together, but when you have experiences like I do, with the Whataburger and now with In-N-Out, I can now compare, and I say they're both great. I love them both. In-N-Out was great. The fries could have been better. Fries, they say they're fresh. Both mine a little on the soggy side, but the burgers were fantastic. So so one of the last days we were there, we biked up to Griffith Observatory, where they filmed more than a few movies like Transformers. And I don't really know any others at this point, but that was awesome enough. And you also got a great view of the Hollywood sign. Unfortunately, there was no Hollyweed, but there's plenty of that. You could definitely smell it all over the place. California is definitely enjoying that recreational for sure. But you know what? The trip wouldn't be complete without our celebrity sightings as well. But we had the best one when I was able to set up a meeting with the previous guest, Keith Coogan, who you remember from Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead.
Dishes are done, man. Cleans them down to the shop.
And Adventures in Babysitting.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
We met up to talk about his experiences growing up and acting in LA, along with his many stories, because he's on that Comic-Con live as well. So you may get to see him in a city near you before too long. As a disclaimer, the audio that I have for this recording, we recorded in a Mexican restaurant, which it was silent when we started out, but we didn't realize that they had been setting up a band right behind us the whole time. So halfway, not too far actually into the interview, you'll start hearing some music. So You're going to enjoy this one way or another. This is a great conversation with Keith and his lovely wife, Pinky. Like I said, hope you enjoy this. So here's my LA conversation with actor Keith Coogan. Enjoy. So I mean, again, thank you so much. Like, when I knew I was going to come out here, I was like, I got to meet up with Keith, see what he's been up to, see what he's got going. I saw you're going to be in San Jose next week.
Yep, we're going to go to the Silicon Valley Film Comic-Con. And a lot of great other guests.
Mm-hmm. Who else is going to be there?
Great area, too. We always have great...
They just added David Tennant.
Oh, nice.
Doctor Who. Sean Astin's going to be there.
Yep.
So do you guys get to see each other when you and Sean or Will Wheaton or anybody from the other movies? You guys to meet up like at the after parties or something like that, I'm sure.
It's so funny.
Especially if it's San Jose, it's
so
close.
Down at the end of the day. It's hard to get people to go to the after party.
Well, it's an all-day event. Like, what time do you usually show up to, like, set up and all that good stuff?
Like an hour, half hour before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick in and out. Just get the merchandise out, get it ready.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, nice.
So they give you, like an 8-foot table and
6 foot, I think.
Yeah, 6 to 8 foot table, depending on the show.
And then, like I said, they have the after parties, but you guys are so beat at the end of it. You're like, do I really want to go? Do I want to go home?
Talk to anyone after. We're like, no, we just want quiet.
Yeah, no, you've been interacting all day.
Not to rat on shows, not that it's good or bad, but sometimes when they book a star, part of their agreement may be that they would be highly encouraged for them to go ahead and attend some of the VIP ones or certain parties where the fans that are paying extra for those other events would really appreciate it.
Like the meet and greet kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that they're paying
it's optional for some people, and for some people it's not optional.
You stay mostly in California because I know you came to Denver or Colorado. Do you kind of just is that as far east as you'll go? Or do you go all the way out to New York and all those places as
we
well?
We were just in New Jersey, but
New Jersey.
We haven't been too many. We'd like to do more, for sure.
Kind of pick them and choose them as they work with your schedule and what you want to do, where you want to go, kind of thing too.
Yeah, and who you work with, Alamo Draft House took us through Texas and Kansas. And, did we go to Denver on that?
We did go to Denver.
When was that?
A
couple years ago.
Okay.
We took Adventures of Babysitting.
So do some screenings all over the place.
Yeah. Yep. With tins of film in the back of SUVs driving between
pulling up
cities in Texas. That was fun.
Oh, nice. Well, when you do the screens, is it you do Q&As all the time after things like that?
Yep.
Or are you doing providing commentary during it? Do you kind of mix it up or anything?
No, we'd love to do that. Someone was going to let us do that at one, and I don't know what happened.
It didn't work out.
So fun to have Keith in the back with a microphone.
That's what. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you. Of course, making my LA trip that much better. This is amazing. We've been all over the place. This is our first time out in California and all this good stuff.
It is.
Growing up in the Midwest, watching California movies, I'm like, one day it's gonna happen. So
we finally first time in California.
First time.
Really?
It took way too long for it to happen. So yeah, we were out here. We did all the staples. We went to you did Universal tours. We went out there.
I bet they didn't do yours.
No.
He's a tour guide at Sony.
What? If I'd have known that, I would have we would have made it happen. We would definitely made it happen. But we definitely got to hit up Hogwarts and all that good stuff out there.
Butterbeer?
Oh, I did. I got the commemorative mug to take home with me, so my wife can be jealous and mad at me at the same time because we're supposed to enjoy that together. But I happened to just be there when we were trying to do the Universal tours, and it's just been a great time so far. And I guess you've lived here your whole life basically, or how what would you say?
Yeah,
pretty much
whole life since I was about 5 years old.
And you lived all over the place in different areas. So what was your favorite area growing up, or just living for the time being?
Malibu.
Malibu.
Nice.
I imagine so.
But various places. One was a tennis change room of a bigger house.
Okay.
But that was, on the beach. That was nice. Then a converted porch.
Yeah.
So they'd taken a porch of one house and
the
converted that into
put towels over
this L-shaped single. And then a one-bedroom apartment that my parents managed. Mm-hmm. And by that time I was working and auditioning and doing commercials and starting to do TV shows and stuff.
Did you room with any your co-stars and any of those guys, like Sean Astin or Will or anybody?
Corey Haim. After I did a film with Corey Haim, he came and moved on to my couch for a couple months.
I bet that was entertaining to have.
It was very entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
One night it was me, Corey Haim, and John Wayne Bobbitt. They were on the hunt, man. Both of them were like, take us take us out, man. Take us out. I was like, all right.
It's like, I think I know a few places. They knew you knew the rounds for sure. So what, like, do you still go back to those, like, neighborhoods, like maybe a restaurant or, like, anything like that? Like,
if
over
I do
there?
find myself in that town, there'll be certain diners.
Yeah, I guess, like, traveling over there might be a little bit
Irish pubs
of
that I'll be like, I know a good spot. Yeah, I've lived in various parts of Malibu, over 26 miles of Malibu.
Okay.
About 4 or 5 places growing up, and then Santa Monica. And went to Santa Monica High School, and then lived in Hollywood, Echo Park, Lincoln Heights, Burbank, Glendale.
Everywhere.
The whole shebang. And you?
I have an ice cream headache.
You lived here as well? Your whole life? Almost?
I have an ice cream headache.
The margarita was that good.
Yeah.
It was too good. It got you.
It went too fast.
Well, like I said, we definitely hit up some of the staples, but I wasn't sure if you had some, like, we got one more day in our bag, so I wasn't sure if there's anything, like, you had any recommendations. We're like off Sunset and like Seward.
Disneyland?
We didn't go to Disneyland. Because we were coming in because we were thinking about, like, doing the WB studio tour or the Universal. Everyone's like, do Universal. It's the best one. Do you agree? Is that the better one, I guess, of the ones you know of?
Oh.
They all have different things. I guess it depends what you like or what
Yeah,
you're into.
I really like practical sets, like that kind of behind the scenes type of stuff. So seeing that, like Hogwarts and
go
all
through a
that
back
stuff.
lot, see those facades, all of their rides.
So how many
during the tram, and then
different
they have
times in your
shows.
life did you go on these tours or to Disneyland in certain different states of mind to enjoy these different things going on?
It is not recommended to enter the park under any influence of anything.
Yeah, of course.
But there are books I have read that are like naughty things that have happened in certain parks out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like, here's where it is, here's where it happens, here's how you
Like
get away with
little corners to just kind of wrap around, maybe do a little business of some sort.
Sorry, I'm back now.
You're back now?
I grew up about 3 hours north of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would that be considered San Francisco or to be?
No, it was actually considered the Central Coast.
Okay.
It's an hour north of Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And then San Francisco is about 3 hours north
Okay,
of there.
it's 6 hours, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Depends
further.
where, if you take the 101, it's like 6 hours. If you take the 5,
Yeah.
it's a little
Is the 101 worth it? The views and everything? Yeah, I've heard so many great things.
We don't like the 1. I mean,
The
once
1
you
is the
go
worst one?
past, like, Pismo.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even,
No.
the road just freaks me out.
Does it get like windy or is it like no rails or anything like that? Okay.
Mudslidey.
If
We
your
went
car
on it once and we're like, that's
if your car didn't have a tune-up within the last
Yeah.
year or so, you should probably avoid
Yeah.
it, basically, kind of situation. Yeah.
And down south is great. San Diego, parking's tough. Just warning.
But Tijuana, you make your way down to Tijuana more than a few times as well. Boys Town, things like that. I know my cousins take me to
You gotta be
places like
careful
that.
in LA. Just the traffic is terrible. The parking is all restricted. There's 900 signs.
Well, we rode our bikes. Like we try to ride everywhere. We rented some bikes. We're like, let's ride it. Like, we felt we were in the center of everything. We could kind of get around, which was great. Yeah, until we went like down south towards Santa Monica and we started hitting like the super hills, getting in Beverly Hills, starting to get through there. It's great going down the hill, but once you start going back up, and you're like, oh my God, this might have been a mistake.
Where are you staying at?
We're at, I guess it's considered West Hollywood, like Sunset and like Seward, or it's right by Chinese Theater, a few blocks from there, basically. And so yeah, we just kind of we jumped up to Universal, went down to Santa Monica, we went to Griffith Observatory today, which was awesome. Yeah, we just kind of hit our goal. Yeah, we
Did
just
you do the Grove?
No, we didn't.
Grove is a cool area.
Farmers Market and the Grove is all in one.
We actually looked at it. We just didn't get a chance to check it out.
There's good farmers markets tomorrow going on all over.
And you can spot people there, celebrities.
Oh, really? They all make their way down there? Nice. You guys got to put your sunglasses on and hats when you make your way down there to get your organics.
You got to be good at recognizing stars with their sunglasses on and their hats pulled down.
It's got to be like an opposite effect. If so many stars are wearing their glasses and hats, you just got to do something completely different, or else they just assume at this point you are incognito.
David Beckham there?
No.
Here?
No. At the farmers market?
Yeah. Or Grove?
No, but I started doing my celebrity pictures.
I was going to ask, how's that been going?
Oh,
Okay.
it's fun, but I mean, it's just a silly hobby. But I started at Sundance Film Festival, basically, other than like a few things when I was in high school. But I I had to get used to spotting people bundled up in the snow.
That's
you know?
true.
And so I see them like in
Hoods
LA, and it's
up,
almost like
beanies,
so
yeah.
easy. You know, like what? No.
Out here, they're all free will, yeah. And out there, you're just kind of, like you said, you gotta step up the talent, to step up the intuition a little bit more.
And sometimes you can't figure them out, or like it's funny because a lot of times I'll go. I know, when you know somebody something.
Well, when you do the quick IMDb as you're running up, you're like, okay, let me just
sometimes
figure
there's
it
no
out.
time. You gotta just go, or like
That's
other
true.
people are asking, so I'll jump in and get people and like be like, I don't know, leave it blank, and then later I'll be going back through pictures and going, oh, so I do have, like, who did I have? Sterling K. Brown with no name because I didn't know who he was then, and I was like, oh yeah, so 5 years ago.
You're like, thank you, and what was the official name you go by again? Just kind of, because I just want to make sure it's not the stage name compared to the real name situation. So what about your projects? Any other projects coming up?
Still doing hunting for the next job through auditioning, networking, doing your own stuff.
Yeah.
A play coming up this summer. Mm-hmm. Proud to get back on the stage again, and then a couple of shows coming up throughout the year that we got planned. Kind of what's it called? What? Hopscotching across the country.
Hopscotching. We're making your way across for.
Am I talking right?
What the heck?
That was dramatic.
That's the intro.
It was like you asked a question and then it went da 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 da.
I'm scared.
No, he's still working on a short. He has an idea for a short. And he wrote a sitcom. And we have all kinds of ideas. We think up. We just don't know what to do with.
Things will happen. I mean,
like, saying that has to be the right time, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all timing. It's all timing, and of course you keep yourself busy with the Comic-Cons and things like that in between. And the screeners. How often are you doing the screenings for the movies?
They're fun.
Yeah.
The screenings. We asked. We didn't know how to handle like the autographs and photos, So I'm like, it'd be more of a mentality. I was like trying to think as a fangirl, and I was like, I wouldn't want to like pay for an autograph with something like that.
Yeah.
But I'd buy merch.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It'd be more like a concert feeling.
Like the dishes and all that stuff. Those are like the gold stuff that people are just like, holy shit, you have that? Let me get that. Yeah. Because that's how my reaction was like, oh man, that's awesome. It's clever as fuck that you guys are doing that.
So like, we just created these just merch booths and these things,
Yeah.
It was like so much fun. We had shirts made.
Oh yeah.
Great.
The poster, we do the reenactment of the poster. That's a great. I love that. Yeah, it's so awesome. So, and of course, it's like the heyday for like nostalgia right now with like Adventures of Babysitting and everything else like that. So like, I'm surprised. Like, did you guys do an official commentary for either of those, any of those movies?
No,
nothing.
Never done a commentary.
And that's crazy that like at the screenings they don't have you guys provide a commentary of some sort.
I did one on a live podcast for Skid Row Studios here in LA.
Yeah.
I had done a podcast, The Call Sheet, Tales of the Bone Machine.
Okay.
And so we did one live out so that people could watch it at home while I did a commentary.
So they're listening.
So there's one. It's archived somewhere. You have to dig for it.
Yeah. I mean, did you enjoy it? Is it something that you felt like you would want to do more, or is it kind of like maybe?
We got to do commentaries for all.
Oh, you'd love it.
Yeah. And that's why I was like wondering. I was like, maybe hopefully in the near future, if you wanted to do like Adventures of Babysitting, or you would do Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, like any of those, because I did one with like Stuart Pankin from Honey We Shrunk Ourselves, and like people really loved just like people, because like you said, they didn't provide commentary when they were acting or when they were part of the project. So it's like now people want to hear from them because they don't want to hear from the cinematographer or like as much as they contributed. Don't get me wrong. They want to hear from the actors and the people who are really a part of it, kind of situation.
I was inspired by Darren Aronofsky, who released an unofficial commentary for The Fountain.
Oh, really?
You can find an MP3 and play it along with your copy of The Fountain.
I mean that's the thing too. Like people have seen these movies so often that like they don't have to have it going when they're listening to a commentary. They know
what bits you're talking about throughout the movie. So like, it plays so well nowadays, so easily, as opposed to like back in the day, people were like, oh, I don't know, sit in my room and put the movie on. They can be commuting from home, listening to the whole thing. So like, it's awesome how convenient it is. It's just crazy that you figured they would have you guys come back for the nostalgia factor and do those commentaries, because shit, resell those things and do all that good stuff. What movie do you think you'd have the best commentary for?
Toy Soldiers.
So as I say, would it be like Toy Soldiers or Cheetah or like any other like back catalog ones?
No, I love all of them are so different filming.
Yeah.
I do love to do all of them. Whoa.
But everyone, he has stories the whole time.
Oh yeah.
You can't watch a movie without him like the whole time.
I know, my wife hates me because I'm that guy. As soon as the movie comes, I'm like, oh, well, this guy was doing this before.
Yeah.
Oh, with the influence of this writing. She's like, shut up. I just want to watch this movie. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm too excited to tell you.
Never have that argument.
We get too excited. We're like, we want to spread our knowledge to everybody else. So yeah, I've become that guy where I'm always pointing out the little behind-the-scenes stuff to my wife. She's like, please let me enjoy this movie. So yeah. So yeah, like any other than San Jose, where any other places you guys are gonna be doing some Comic-Cons? Since the summertime, that's really when the season kicks up, really.
We have one coming, but we can't announce it until we
Okay.
do. But I'm hoping it's in the queue. I got to announce it.
Nice.
So I'm like, come on, we want to talk about it. We want to shoot it. But we're trying to do it maybe every other month or so.
Yeah. Like the process, like do they reach out to you guys? Do you reach out to them? Like scheduling? How's that about? Kind of mutual? Yeah.
Tell them how you look at the guests and see what's working.
Yeah, you look at the guests at upcoming shows, and you probably work with a promoter or with them or someone that worked with or know some of the talent that might be there. Figure out who to talk to, and you say, I love the lineup, and it would be a reunion for this movie or a reunion for this TV show or whatever.
It's a win-win.
I think guest audiences that come out, they love reunions.
Oh, of course. Do you do a lot of the panels too?
Yeah. I always love to do it. Yeah, Danielle Harris, who played Melissa, the younger sister, Doug Mom. We did a panel on Doug Mom, the Babysitting.
Awesome. Yeah. Does she do as many, or she kind of comes out every once in a while?
She does a lot of shows.
Does she? So do you guys just like randomly run into each other at shows, or do you like when you see the lineups, you're like, oh, she's gonna be there, so let me see if we can make this work kind of situation. Napkins? I mean, some napkin situation.
What's wrong with your hands?
Uh-oh. No napkins. Old school style.
You're all good now. Oh, I'm fine.
Good? Cool. So, what were your...
It worked.
Huh?
It worked. My hands worked.
The pants are always the best napkins. The best napkins always.
I'm gonna squeegee them right out of the jeans.
So, did you like The Last Jedi?
Loved it.
Loved it?
Yes.
You weren't like torn on like all the crazy things people were complaining about?
No. And even though they said Rogue One was not part of the trilogy, everything that they're doing with Star Wars is supporting each other.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Solo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Like we've only got like one trailer, which is crazy that, for a movie that's coming out in basically 1 month, we only have one trailer, but I'm excited for it. I'm optimistic, but they had to basically reshoot half the movie, so you're like, with Ron Howard though, you can't go wrong with Ron Howard. I think it'd be good. I think we can trust Ron. Good old Opie. But yeah, I wasn't sure, being such a true Star Wars fan, if you're like with like how they handle Luke Skywalker, throwing the lightsaber and like all maybe the different angles they try to play in the Star Wars themes.
Yep, and everybody becoming Luke becoming Obi-Wan.
Yeah, like everyone had these expectations, like this is what's supposed to happen, but it didn't happen, so everyone's like, oh, this is the worst movie ever.
Luke also becoming Yoda, really.
Oh yeah.
Very Yoda-like in Last Jedi.
He was. He was more of like a bumbly type of Luke
I also felt
Skywalker.
that Last Jedi was a little Empire Strikes Back and a little Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So now they could do something totally unexpected for 9.
Which is good because, like, you know, George Lucas was always like he wanted to rhyme, like in regards to, like, the themes and like the arcs and things like that. But like, it's good that they're deviating from that because it may like there's some things I'm like I wish that was done a little bit differently. But overall, after watching it a couple times, I'm like, this movie's fucking awesome. I love like the light speed at the end into the Star Cruise, the Empire Star Cruise, and the New Order, like all that good stuff. Like they have so many visual things that was so great about the movie. It's hard to like, you know, hate against it. So hard. But I'm excited for the next one with J.J. Abrams. So we'll see how he can like maybe tie some of the stuff that they didn't answer in the second one. Maybe he has some answers. I don't know. But it's J.J. Abrams. He never has answers.
Never has answers. What are you talking about?
We just watched Cloverfield, which had
be a
nothing.
box. The box will be lost.
Nothing, and then you never know what's in the box. Oh yeah, that whole TED Talk is that we played at his funeral, basically the TED Talk of him saying that. Yeah, I'm curious. I wasn't sure if as a fan like you are, if you like the J.J. Abrams, they took like Ryan Johnson's maybe ideas, or Colin Trevorrow, if you're a fan of their work, things like that.
Yeah. And Ryan Johnson, I have been a fan.
I mean, he knocked out part of Looper and like movies like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like these guys like. They know what they're doing, but they feel like they have to like follow like Star Wars' templates and things like that in regards to what the fans want and maybe what Kathleen Kennedy and what they want. It's like these guys are like artists, so you gotta let them kind of do their thing, which I think he did. People just probably didn't appreciate it as much as they should have. But I'm excited for the next one. I'm excited for at least the last one to see what they're gonna do with the next series. So yeah. Well, what are you guys' plans for Easter tomorrow?
We're gonna dye some eggs.
Nice. Easter egg hunt? Is there Easter egg hunt in your neighborhood that you guys attend?
We were gone last year for Easter. We were in San Francisco doing a 30th anniversary screening for Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't do much last year. One year we went to Disneyland, thinking we'd be smart and like no one else.
No one's gonna be there.
That wasn't the case.
I thought that yesterday too. When we went to Universal, I was like, oh, it's Friday. No one's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And,
It's only spring
Easter
break.
weekend,
Yeah.
spring break. Yeah, of course. I was like, Jesus. I was like, I thought we picked a great weekend coming in. I was like, no. I mean, it was weather-wise. I guess it's Uber driver saying it was like raining all last week, and it was supposed to be kind of shitty weather next week too. So we just kind of picked the right little window here, pocket of windows to come in.
What'd you come for? Just for fun?
Just for fun.
And you just were like, later, wife, you can't come?
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty much well, she loves traveling, but she's like, Los Angeles, you can do that with your boys. You can do that with your friends. I'm like, all right, fine. So she didn't want to go. She loves like California and stuff, but she didn't want to come to Los Angeles. It's like, you can go with your friends if you want. I was like, well, then that's the situation. Then we're gonna go enjoy ourselves.
So there's no ladies on your trip?
No. We just took the one of my friends, his girlfriend came out with them. Then she flew out when we got out here. So a short trip. So we do like 3 or 4 days. Kind of every year we try to do like a 3 or 4 day trip with just guys, just to kind of get away, chill out for a few days, just kind of try places we've never been to. We're thinking about doing Canada next year, possibly. Maybe some Toronto. Have you guys been rocked out Toronto? Yeah, many a times.
We shot Adventures of Babysitting in Toronto.
Oh, that's right.
But I've never been back.
Yeah. They miss you. They're ready for the screening, the 30th, the 31st anniversary. Or what anniversary would it be this year? I guess
31.
31. So yeah, Toronto's waiting for you to come back.
Chicago last year or year before.
Yeah. And then like, do you guys like try to organize anything with like any of the fellow castmates from before, or is it just all have to work out perfectly? The planets have to align. If you guys are at the same like show, or if you want to set up a screening or anything like that. Like, do you ever do a screening with like you, Will Wheaton, and Sean Astin for Toy Soldiers or anything like that? Have you done that before?
We haven't, but we should. Right?
We haven't. But you gotta license it. You gotta call
a lot of
Sony, who owns TriStar.
A lot of red tape.
You did a screening with at the Egyptian with Sarah.
So for every screening, they have to go through the process of the approvals and the confirmations. Yeah.
In some cases, it can't be too large of an audience.
Yeah, they'll say they can only keep it to like maybe like a couple hundred people or less, kind of a situation. Yeah. Which is crazy. Like, especially if you're making money off it, I guess they want to make sure they get something or make sure it's all approved. But that would be the awesomest thing if you guys got together. Did one of those toy soldiers or Adventures of Babysitting.
My opinion is that archive product like that that's 20 or 30 years old, that's totally paid for itself. Right now, you're worried about your books for a movie you just finished, sunk a big budget into.
Yeah.
That's 10 times what those old movies used to make, they cost to make. And all this advertising, marketing, you need to get that out of the red. So you want to make sure that audiences out there today are going to those movies that just cost them a lot of money. So they don't necessarily need to or want to support archive stuff that has no cost.
Yeah.
Right now they're distracting audiences. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, but talk about that a little bit more. So what are they doing like really to distract people from like seeing what's really going on?
Well, no. They want them to see the movies they just spent a bunch of money on, the new movies.
So that, like you said, the promotions,
they have a lot of, because they want you to enjoy those classics at home on a home media is fine, and that's a tail end, so that the products that are out now, in some years' time, they have value again, because you can watch it at home.
I mean, you would think like they would play into the whole nostalgia wave that's going on and like really get in on that and like make it official, so you don't have to get permission every time. It's just like they get a certain cut, I guess, if it happens. Or is that how it is now? Do they want legal approval, or do they want cut of
Well, they also want to support more writers, directors, and younger stars by rebooting and remaking stuff and reimagining it and spinning it off. And that's great because it's already a familiar IP for audiences. There's going to be references and Easter eggs and homages to the original stories and cast. And
they did Adventures of Babysitting for like a TV show. Is that
a pilot for a TV series?
Yeah. Did that come to fruition, or is it more of like a pilot? It was
just the pilot.
Just the pilot. Okay.
Joey Lawrence, Ryan Austin Green were Brad and Tara.
Oh, really? He was going to be in that? Okay.
And Sarah was played by Courtney Peldon, who is my talent agent over at Aqua Talent.
Nice. What? How does that work? How does that work out?
Like, that works out. She was a child actor. She understands me. It's perfect.
It's true. Go hand in hand. Well, what about like don't tell all the babysitters that have they even talked about rebooting or doing anything like that at all?
No, they really haven't approached that.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we all love the original, I'm surprised that they haven't like even thought about it or like mentioned to some degree, because I feel like that storyline is timeless. Basically, mom being stuck at home, stuff and things like that, shenanigans all over. Granted, we have the internet and things like that. You can update the whole thing, but I don't know. I just wondered if it was something like you said, if they even like once they start doing the promotions, is it something you're even like involved in the project? Did they even come to it all, or are you just something that you would love to be a part of one way or another? Writing, producing, like a cameo, things like that, even in it.
All avenues explored.
Yeah.
And when Adventures of Babysitting did a new adventure that was rated G for families and had a whole new cast and story. And I tried. I called immediately as I found out about it. They're like, they're shooting up in Canada. No, they're not gonna. They don't have the budget to, bring you on up from LA. I'm like, fine.
Right, you could be the dad.
Fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, coming as a dad or like something
it's coming
like
out,
that.
And every once in a while people are grumbling, online, like, does the original cast have a cameo? No. What is this? What is this crap? What's this coming on?
I love when they have original cast in remakes.
I love it.
It makes me so happy.
They just wanted to make something that new families could enjoy, and they wanted to, step away. And it was a whole night. It was 30 years later.
Those new families, those dads, those moms
So
watched the original.
I got to go to the premiere.
Point Break?
The newer one?
It has James LeGros in it, though.
Oh, didn't see?
Which was like a nod to, that's Roach from the first one. So I was like, all right, at least they paid that respect.
Is there a Via con Dios quote in that movie?
I couldn't watch the whole thing. It was real bad.
No, okay.
But I liked that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would have forgotten James LeGros' name. But go ahead.
But it is great to see him just kind of pop up and just like
totally. I was like, thank you for
paying the respect, giving them the love that they deserve.
The movie still sucks, but I appreciate the nod.
Exactly, like you said, for those dads who are like, I gotta watch this reboot, but hey, I get to see the guy who at least in the original. So it's like you said, I wasn't sure if it was something. Of course, all avenues explored when it comes to those things. For sure.
Sorry, babe. What were you saying? I totally cut you off. What about your Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's dad? I thought that would be a funny
The absentee dad that was never there?
Or Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's dad, like almost a Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's undead.
Boom.
Right?
See? And so those are like the reboots, and like I'm surprised though, like people haven't gone back to like Cheetah or like like the Disney or the Fox and Hound. Maybe we could do some voiceover work with Fox and Hound or things like that. Like I said, all angles can be explored.
Fox and the Hound 3.
Where they had the 2 direct-to-video, was that or the standard one? Did it come out? Did it have an actual sequel to that
Fox and the Hound 2, which is a midquel. It takes place between when the Fox and the Hound were young and between the time they got older.
A midquel.
A midquel?
It's a midquel. I love that.
That's you can make up any word, You can make
genius.
It's copyrighted right here.
Wow. It's part of the Fox and the Hound Noodle universe.
It's canon. It's in the Fox and Hound canon right now.
Wow. F-U? Oh, sorry, F-H-U.
Fox and Hound universe. That's good, FHU.
I like F-U better.
So any more creations coming up in the merchandising other than like, Rose, I'm on it, or the dishes are done? Anything else you're looking to add to the repertoire?
I think people really like Don't Fuck with the Babysitter, so
We've been too chicken to put it on stuff, but people love it when we do.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't done more. Cause I'm sure people love that one.
We're also torn on the Thor's a homo.
I mean, it might have a niche audience, but there'll be an audience for sure.
I know there'll be an audience, but we also don't want to
you don't want to alienate a certain fan base for sure. It's totally understandable. Well, I'm trying to think what else. Eat Shit. It's a good one. Eat Shit's always a solid one. Back to the Sue Ellen.
It's good.
Trying to figure out the best pictures too. Like we did a what was that? Chromicon? Yeah, we did this
Chromica? I thought you said Chronicon. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of them down here too.
It's Chronic and Comic. So
it is Chronicon. Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Guess what? They don't have any money.
Oh yeah, nice.
They hitchhike to the con. They have no money to buy your autograph.
It's one of those.
Not a great show for us, but it was interesting. And because we were going and didn't know once we got there.
It was like the first time going to this one?
Yeah. And it was their first one, and it was in Vegas.
Do you do that very often? If it's like maybe a startup con?
More than we should be.
Yeah. You never know. It might be lucrative to some degree or another.
Everyone, has stories. So
I was gonna say, what is the weirdest one or the most obscure one that stands out the most of the ones you guys have been to, or the name at least?
We have so there's been like even mentioned the whole
amongst con life.
The con people.
Amongst the convention circuit, there's a few notorious shows that went down in lame.
Uh-oh.
And we were a part of all
we were
three
part
of
of
them.
three of
What?
those.
All right, I gotta hear at least one of these.
So, yeah, no, not to name names, but some of them didn't get enough guests. Some of them had, enough.
We could name them, they don't exist anymore.
Because people back out, last minute. So that's usually probably what happens to these
And they
smaller
went
ones.
bankrupt.
The what?
Like,
Yeah.
Just the show had gone bankrupt.
Yeah.
And others, pull out by the skin of their teeth.
Maybe we should
and others,
cut all of that then.
Yeah,
I feel
others
bad.
dissolve.
I'll cut it
others, it's interesting. But it is important to support inaugural shows because they could grow. They could be something that a community or a region of the country likes.
Yeah.
It could gel. It could jam.
Yeah, no, you're right. You never know. I mean,
Yeah,
it could
you
be a
never
small
know.
show once you show up the first time, and then you show up a year later. It's
I don't
one
like
of
the
biggest
word
ones.
blame. I like the word attribution. Well, you can attribute it to this.
Yes.
It's not that it's anybody's fault, but there could be a time of year. There could be an event that happened. They're competing shows often now are like booking near them and in the same week or before to try to take some of their audience. It's very competitive.
So that multiple
for the
shows in the
organizers.
same city kind of situation.
Do you have any shows coming up you're excited about going to?
At Denver Comic Con, they do theirs in June.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. They have like the whole cast like Stranger Things. I'm flying my niece in, who's a middle
Cast of what?
Stranger Things and like people like that. Because my niece, she's in middle school, I'm gonna fly her out and we're gonna go there. She's excited about the Stranger Things cast. She loves I'm trying to think of the Supernatural. She loves Supernatural. Those guys, I think one or two are gonna be there. So I'm excited for stuff like that. But like, I definitely travel to the smaller Comic Cons. Like when I saw you guys were at the Colorado Springs ones, I'm like, I was surprised. Like, so we gotta get you guys up to the Denver one for sure, because actually they're comparable to basically their sizes. But the Denver Comic Con just gets to have the downtown convention center, and it would be awesome because, like you said, I think each year that I've been there had like 10,000 people. Then it was 50,000 people. Now they're 100,000 plus people at these. So like Denver Comic Con, like that's just the one. It's growing up there with New York and San Diego. I wouldn't say it's like the best.
We'd be very excited to be going to the Denver Comic Con.
Yeah, seriously, like you guys will fit in with the lineups out there for sure, and the panels they have. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I definitely want to try out San Diego, but I've heard like it's just a shit show. Like just the logistics of like
We've never gone to that.
Yeah, you never done the San Diego one either. Yeah. Is it just because it's like a nightmare?
D23.
Yeah, D23 would be legit.
That was pretty amazing. And Star Wars Celebration.
With Corey Feldman and Sean Astin.
Oh, you did D23 with them? Nice. What are you going to see?
I was losing my mind a little bit.
I was going to say, when are you going to see you guys in one of Corey Feldman's music videos? I saw Sean in one of them. I was like, we're going to get you in one of these music videos from Corey. Does he play a lot? Does Corey play a lot here, or does he travel a lot for the music that he does?
He did that, what was it? Tour last year? Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it?
And he started down in San Capistrano.
Yeah, because we went to his first show and his last show. Started there, and then he ended in LA. But I thought they went to another one,
the Whiskey.
Nice.
Then he did it in the fall. He did another tour, and didn't they do Europe?
We're going to bring up our
a couple of dates over.
He keeps himself busy then, definitely.
Yeah, and they're long shows too, 3 hours.
What?
I get up and like clean the house for half an hour, and my back hurts, and I'm ready to lay down. I don't know how he keeps it up.
He's got an unmatched amount of energy. I feel like Corey's just going to always be that way for sure.
Keith's presenting a lifetime achievement to Corey in 2 weeks.
Nice. Where's this going to be at?
Young Entertainer Award.
Cool.
At Universal Studios.
So you got your speech ready? Do you have to give? Are you gonna give a little bit of a speech, or is this more just reading off the card and here you go, kind of hand it off?
I'm gonna roast him completely.
Yes.
No, he would
Come
not.
on.
This is 25 years in the making. He's just like, this is gonna happen. This is what's happening, Corey. Deal with it. You guys see each other very often in between those type of situations, or just randomly in the out and about?
We see each other at events. And,
Did you see the Tale of Two Corys?
Did you see A Tale of Two Corys? The Tale of Two Corys, which is about Corey.
Oh, I think I heard about that. I haven't seen it.
In it.
Oh, well, then looks like we'll be doing a screening of that at some point, too.
It not only was on Lifetime, but it was also on Lifetime Movie Network and available for download on Amazon.
Beautiful.
Brought to you by Keith Coogan.
We're going to be getting that linked up for sure. Well, nice. Also, like, what was your part in that? Doing that? Was it like more like interviewing? Were you like acting in it with him, or what was it?
I was acting in it.
Nice.
As a on-set chaperone to Corey Feldman that molests Corey Haim. Or appears to.
You don't get to choose all your roles, right? You don't get to choose.
And I scared a lot of my fans. People are like, am I going to be able to enjoy Adventures of Babysitting after this?
It's like, just a disclaimer, right? Just put a disclaimer on every time your part comes on. It's like, this is not the same guy. Please. This place is rocking. We got one band over here, one up front. This is your go-to. You guys love this place, yeah. You're like, oh, we don't really like the music, and it's like surrounded, it's everywhere.
The service is kind of terrible, so we don't come very often.
Yeah.
We love it.
We got an outside patio. I had a birthday party out on that patio.
Okay, nice.
You can have your dog out there.
Oh, you guys got a dog? What kind of dog you got?
Chihuahua Pomeranian.
I feel like very common out here. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I've seen a lot of them. The little Chihuahua Pomeranians. But they're so cute. But I can see why, because they're so cute. Those tiny little nubs.
I do. Our boys are giving me
What's the name?
I don't love my dog. Come
Alright,
on.
adorable.
Sammy.
Sammy, very
His name's
nice.
after Sam Trammell.
Okay.
And Nick Rhodes.
Nick Rhodes.
So his name's Sammy Rhodes.
So you get the full name whenever you call him to come home, the Sammy Rose.
It's been
I
bad.
actually call him Bubba.
But one of the many nicknames always the pets always get from the original. It always like how has it devolved from the original to
Bubba turned to Bubs, which turned to Bugs.
and then Bugs will turn into like Zugba. Yeah, it's some weird name. It's just
Buglet.
Yeah, Buglet. Yeah. Lately we're calling him like.
That's when you get the name. You get the name tag, the caller tag that has all the nicknames in case, so the answer to all of them. Pudding. Is another one? Is it pudding or is it hood? Hood. Yeah, pudding.
That's right.
You go Harley Quinn on it? Pudding. Come on now. That's awesome. Just one dog, no other pets. Just you gotta take it out in the morning. You let it in the backyard, just kind of do your thing. You gotta let them walk. Get the walks going. That's why I love cats.
You get to walk in the prison yard 2 or 3 times a day.
Keep them from fighting from all the prisoner dogs. And that's why I love cats. I can leave my cat for like 4 or 5 days. Giant pile of food. She comes back, she'll still ignore me just as much as she did before.
What's wrong with you?
The number of people on stage in this entire restaurant at the same time outnumbers the staff, the kitchen staff,
Oh, I think
the bar
so.
staff.
We got 5. We got at least 5
jam
there.
session right now.
There's definitely 5 up front.
Came here one night for dinner.
We got a stage audience ratio situation we got to figure out.
Yeah, we came on the wrong night. They were having like Frank bingo, and it was so loud. We're like, no.
What was it? Bingo and what else? What? So it's like a disco ball, like everything going on. Yeah.
There was a lot going on. We're like, no.
Like, I just want to play like regular bingo. What the fuck's happening right now?
It's just so loud. I just want to chill and eat.
You say I just want a beer. All of a sudden you got drag queens running around. Every time we see a drag queen, does it like give you like PTSD? You're like, oh man, when they stole the car from Don't Tell Mom. Which still to this day, that scene makes no sense to me. Why are drag queens stealing the car? I just don't get it. That's why the commentary is necessary.
I always thought there was more follow-up on that, like more story in there.
They should have been a graphic novel on the side as they joyrided across Hollywood.
Seriously, Liza Minnelli and everybody in that car? That's a movie on its own. And when they drove off, I'm like, how did this come to fruition? Like, what happened and what's happening here?
Yeah, did they take out a few things? Or did they remove a few things?
Is there a couple deleted scenes that we didn't see?
That was all.
That was the original plan? And drag Liza Minnelli? And who else was there?
Explanation.
Who were the other drag queens? Were they famous drag queens?
Well, they wanted to take the only advantage away with the babysitter. Even though the babysitter leave the money, she left the car. So now the car is gone. Now the
that car was awesome.
Oh, that's how they were trying to do it. So they just
Yeah.
We just went to a screening with the writers, and the writers and Keith had a Q&A, and they.
What?
One of them does.
Well, I mean, this didn't come didn't quite go.
He said that
it just sounds a little bitter.
When they were trying to get it made. People told them to put it deep in the back of a drawer. Then there was a bidding war over it, and then it did very well. Apparently, usually there's like a one-off knockoff company that people make when they make a movie. And then when the big production company or whatever is doing another movie, they make a new corporation. For each movie, there's a separate little throwaway company.
Okay.
Because if anything happens in liability and insurance on it, some
so
back
a bunch of
company
these
can
show
take
companies.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect the other. Exactly. It's common practice. Yeah. This company still exists and is profitable.
Since then?
And it just doesn't happen. You just never see this happen.
Yeah.
And so apparently if Don't Tell Mom, especially in its home media, residuals on all that, there's some great nostalgia in it, even though it plays on HBO and other cable channels all the time. People still love it and watch it and share it with their kids. Actually, I prefer people share Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead first before Adventures, because Adventures Babysitting has a lot of bad language in it.
It's true. And when we talked, I told you that watching it Don't Tell Mom Babysitters, you can watch it from everybody's perspective at this point. You can be Walter, you can be you can be Sue Ellen, you can be that creep Gus, you can be anybody, whoever you want to be.
You can be Rose.
You can be Rose, exactly. So it's one of those that's so relatable to each character. So, and same thing, but Adventures Baby's the same thing. But like you said, cover the language, probably get the kids more into Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, that kind of thing. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. Don't Tell Mom. If it's on, I'm not turning it away. I gotta tell my wife all the stuff I know about it. I gotta quote it. I gotta tell her how many times I watched it on HBO as a kid. She's like, I get it. I'm like, yes, this movie's awesome.
One of the things that came up at the panel with Danielle Harris, she reminded me, I forgot, they did cut out a scene where we discover we have a pool in the backyard. It's so overgrown. They were like, we have a pool. We can dig it out. Yeah, they cut that sequence out.
I was surprised by the pool cleaning skills of everybody to bring that pool back to life. But yeah, I just remember you cutting the grass and non-existent grass right there with the lawnmower, which I've done multiple times, getting hit by rocks and everything else by doing that shit. Yeah. Margarita good? Nice.
Rocking the jazz Led Zeppelin. I love it.
They were doing that. They did Neil Diamond, and they did some Led Zeppelin, and then I think they did Hank Williams Jr. after that. They were kind of all over the place, but it was good stuff. I had no complaints. So yeah. amazing. I can't thank you guys like anymore for doing this. Like this is.
Well, thank you for the refreshments.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I'm good for now. Thank you. Well, definitely, maybe not this year, but next year, I think Denver Comic Con should be your next stop for sure, because it's like over 100,000 people.
Why not this year?
Do it. If you have time, fucking do it. It'd be awesome.
I'm gonna get it.
You guys would you would love it. If you like Colorado Springs, you'll love the Denver one. It's like I said, it's I would say a lot more people, a lot more celebrities you get to hang out with, and merchandise. You'll definitely make a killing on it out there, for sure. For sure. So yeah.
Hopefully people can look for an announcement soon or something like that. That would be awesome.
Let me know. I'll promote the shit out of it in Denver. No problem. No problem at all. So you can rest assured I'll be there. If you're going to be there, I definitely will.
Alright, so we got agreement. Everyone listening, if I get announced at the Denver Comic Con somehow, then you guys are all beholden to come out and see a lot of great guests.
We are all contractually obligated at this point.
Contractually obligated.
Yeah, we're going to be doing. It's going to happen.
Quid pro quo. Whoops, I can't talk.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Well, guys, that was awesome. I'm just making you make commitments before anything happens. That's all.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Keith Coogan as much as I did. He was awesome as always, and so I'll link all the places you can follow Keith as he makes his rounds to all the Comic Cons near you. Also, stay tuned because we're definitely going to be looking to have him back to do a commentary for one of his many classics. But other than that, that was everything I wanted to get into. I hope you all enjoyed all my stories about LA and the shenanigans with my friends. Maybe you'll make a trip out or another trip soon to enjoy the sunny weather and the relaxed stop sign disciplinary system out there. The California roll is for real out there. Look both ways. I'm telling you, look both ways on a swivel. But other than that, I really appreciate it. So thanks everyone for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast. Make sure you tune in every Throwback Thursday for new episodes of the podcast. Subscribe, like, follow, and rate the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, and Poop Culture Podcast Network at poopculture.com. Also, follow the podcast on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Be Kind Rewind Pod for all of your nostalgic needs. So thanks, and be excellent to each other.
What you just heard was a podcast in the Poop Culture Extended Universe. For more great podcasts, make your way to www.poopculture.com.